Morning, my friends. I'm Pastor Ben Hayes from First Baptist Church, Dadeville, Alabama, bringing you our thought for the day on this wonderful Wednesday. And we got a lot in store for us today. Don't forget 10 a.m. our men's and ladies Bible study meet. Great time of Bible study, fellowship, and prayer. Come and join us. We'd love to have you. And then this evening, keep in mind, we're not going to have any services here at First Baptist. We're moving everything to First Baptist Church Reeltown for our Dadeville Ministerial Alliance Holy Week service. Going to be a great service, a great time of worship and praise. So join us. We'll leave the church at 5:30 if you want to ride the bus. Otherwise, just meet us there. There will be a fellowship following the service, so be a great day. So come and join us with that. Now, we've been talking about the last days. We've been talking about this alliance between countries that will eventually form this coalition of countries that will attack Israel in the war of Gog and Magog, which we find in Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, 39 in that area. And I would encourage you to read over that. I've been talking about China a lot because of the association, the fact that they are growing closer and closer together. China will not play a part as much in this war, other than the fact that this coalition is going to come from Iran. Listen to the list: Iran, Sudan, Libya, Algeria, Turkey, a group of other North African, Middle Eastern countries, and Central Asian countries in the last days. And I think that you'll see some of China being involved in that, not specifically mentioned as a country, but just as a group of people. But also keep in mind that in Ezekiel's day, there was no such thing as Islam. Islam was not invented till the 600s of our millennia, and just another lie by Satan to try to destroy God's people. But most of the nations that Ezekiel mentions in this list of nations are Muslim countries, and Russia is about 20% Muslim, probably a little bit more than that. And they're increasingly allying themselves with these radicalized Islamic countries. Now, why in the world would you see Russia, which has historically been a pagan nation, begin to build alliances with the Muslim peoples? Now, you can understand why they would with China, because China is an atheistic country as well. But why would this happen? Well, it's all because, one, because God said it was going to happen. Another is because there's this hatred of Israel. There is a lust for what Israel holds. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of the recent technological advances in our world have come out of Israel. Natural resources have been discovered in Israel. There's a gold mine there, and these nations realize that, and the fact that they hate Israel anyway, and the fact that God is blessing them, and keep in mind, He's blessing them in spite of their rejection of Him. But God is blessing them with all of these natural resources as prophesied, because it says in the Bible that in the last days Israel will bloom, the deserts will bloom, and that's exactly what's happening. Prosperity in Israel is amazing, and if you've ever been there, you can see that and the difference between the other nations. But Ezekiel 38:8 says, in the latter years, Gog and his coalition will come into the land that is restored from the sword, whose inhabitants have been gathered from many nations to the mountains of Israel, which had been a continual waste. But its people were brought out from the nations, and they are living securely, all of them. Can I tell you that the most secure nation in the world is probably Israel, in spite of the fact that they're surrounded by enemies, in spite of the fact that they have enemies living inside of their borders, in spite of the fact that they're constantly facing missile attacks from different parts of the Middle East. They are the most secure nation in the world because God has His hand on them, because God is going to use them mightily in the last days. But in those last days, this coalition is going to come up against Israel, and they're going to fight from the mountains of the north, the remotest parts of the north. They're going to come against the mountains of Israel. But here's the thing. In the end, God destroys those enemies. Supernaturally, God will take care of those enemies. I'm sure the Israelis will mount a defense. I'm sure that they will try to fight back. And the Bible says no one will come to their aid not even the United States of America. And I believe that's because we're going to be so irrelevant by that point that we'll not be able to assist Israel, or we won't be in existence. You say, well, how can that happen in the very near future? Well, look at our situation politically, economically, every way. Things are nuts here. Our nation is falling apart, and if you don't believe that, then look at all of the turmoil that is going on, and look at the amazingly decadent actions of some of our judicial systems, our legislators. It is a crazy time, and I think we're facing the judgment of God because of decisions that we've allowed to be made. And when I say we, I'm talking about us as Christians. I'll talk about this some more tomorrow, but I want you to keep in mind God has a plan, God has a purpose. We just need to be ready for what's going to happen. Be blessed today, and I hope to see you some point this morning.